Stevie Lee, episode 310 is very special. We've had some great guests. Obviously 309 previous episodes, but this guy, he has done a somersault into the end zone. He was a great pro. The guy has a tremendous foundation, and he had a great career. But one thing that he does, he still loves to talk about football, life in general. And he's also a guy that is a huge, huge contributor to his community, right?
Absolutely, man. Really good friend of mine. Not only is he a really good friend, he was a really, really good teammate, good person, good family guy. Love his wife, Priscilla, and all the kids. Just a really good dude. Our friend, Cory Redding, man.
Let's roll this thing.
We were fortunate to win the game. We made enough mistakes today to lose.
And here he is, Cory Redding, as we try to really fix the layout here. I have no idea why our Brady Bunch boxes are all over the place. But, Cory, man, appreciate you making the time on a Sunday. Everyone's seeing this on a Monday, and it's been long overdue since I've seen that mug right there.
Oh man, thanks for having me, guys. This is good.
So you guys just heard it, Stevie. Saturday, I mean, you both have been a part of college football and seen what anyone can do on any given Saturday. This past Saturday, a ton of near upsets and a few upsets. Texas and OU off of a bye week. OU almost gets beat by Central Florida in Norman, and the Longhorns. It took all they had to pull out that win in Houston. I'll begin with our VIP guest of honor. Cory, how would you sum up what you saw in Houston on Saturday?
You know what? That's it's pretty typical coming off of a bye week for guys to have a slow start. You know, you really can't simulate game speed and practice. You try to, but the game is just a different tempo, right? And so when guys have that week off, you don't really know how to ramp the engine back up. You could start off a little slow. Well, Longhorn started out hot. I mean, they were up like, 20-something-0, and all of a sudden it seemed like they got off the gas and started pumping the brakes. Mistakes all over the place, and you can't do that. You can't let a team like Houston have hope. You can't have busted coverages. You got to stay on your guys. But at the end of the day, you know what? We threw everything at them and the kitchen sink to get that win.
Stevie, I mean, you're a positive guy always, but
always.
You're also a realist. You call it like you see it, and I know it's hard to be critical of your program. A win's a win, but there's more to it, right?
Absolutely. A win is a win. First and foremost, that's out the way. Like Cory said, we went up 21-0. And then went on a 21-0. They went on a 21-0 run on us, and so it should have never been that close. Sharks' motto is "all gas, no brakes." Well, there were some brakes in there today or yesterday. So I think, I told you last week. You dance with who bought you, right? Just dance with who bought you. We stopped doing that. He got up and got comfortable, and it's like when you playing Madden with your boys and you get that 21-point lead, you're supposed to get the sticks up.
Yeah, you turn the game off.
Turn the game off, gave the sticks up at 21-0. And Houston was like, all right, thank you for opening the door for us. And so we can talk about more, and I can go into some analytics of what I think happened,
right?
What I think should happen. But there are some things that we got to fix in there. I still think the players stayed strong, stayed fast, and wasn't, tired or gassed or anything like that. But that means there was some play calling in there for me. There was some play calling for me because the guys are still strong. The guys are still playing. It's
you know,
just,
you can say it's a little, you can say it's a little play calling too, but I think at the end of the day, it's the hyper focus of the guys, or lack or less thereof. For these guys were like playing on a different level when they played against Alabama, right?
Yeah.
And that level of focus, intensity, like I'm going to pound you no matter what, every single play. I haven't seen that since Alabama. Yes, we played fine and strong, but I have not seen that since. I mean, like, it was from start to finish domination. We were easy against Wyoming. We're easy against Houston. You're easy against these teams. You have to have that same focus every single weekend. At the end of the day, when they go into the ACC, that's a national championship game every single weekend. That's the mindset. And if you don't come with that same energy and passion every single weekend, it's going to be ugly. So you have to have it. You can't turn it on and off. You got to continue to have it on.
Gotcha.
That is as spot on of a statement that anyone could deliver, because when you guys played together at Texas, the Big 12 was a little more stronger than it is today, and it was almost that way. It was very similar. Before we move forward, you see the logo on the right-hand side of the screen. That is our exclusive sponsor from the great city of Shreveport, Louisiana, Hargrove Roofing. They've expanded into the great state of Texas, and I love it because it sounds better when it comes out of Stevie's mouth. Their slogan that they have their marketing slogan. What is it, Stevie? I'm going to act like I've never heard it before.
Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
That's well done, my friend. And you're locally on Ashdale Drive, you can contact Hargrove Roofing for all of your roofing needs, and maybe you're lucky enough you get to talk to Coach. 512-645-3202. All right, Cory, this is instead of AP rankings or coaches rankings, I do a power poll every week. The Power 10 and the 4 on the outside. These are very unpopular. And I've been raked over the coals by some OU folks, and I think I'm going to be raked over the coals by members of the Longhorn Nation when they see this. I just go by who individuals play that week, how they play, quality of opponent, and injuries. So I'm going to pull this up, and Texas has been no lower than 9, as high as 2, and I'm just going by what we saw yesterday. And I know OU fans are not going to be happy about this either, but here we go. And I'm prepared for all criticism. There we go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just for this week.
You dropped Texas out of the top 10?
Because I saw a better performance from Alabama, Utah, and Oregon. And Penn State Ohio State beat them head-to-head. So you got to move up Ohio State over Michigan, in my opinion, because of the top 10 matchup. I think Texas is a top 10 team for sure. And I thought Washington, who struggled against one win Arizona State at home, I dropped them from 3 to 5.
Out of the 6 to 10, is it only Alabama with 1 loss? All right, so hey, but see that goes back to not handling your business, Stevie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had opportunities in that game in Dallas to win. We go up at the end of the game, and to not close, to not seal the deal defensively, to get that stop, to put more pressure, to get that kid on his back, force air throws, not to have, like, we should not have allowed him to go down the field that fast to score a touchdown, period. Once you get the lead, you got to apply pressure at the end of the day, my opinion. We should be undefeated. Nonetheless, we're not. So, right? So, you can argue and say, hey, you knocked us out of the top 10, but if you have these teams up there now, I mean, I don't like anything given to us. We got to fight and earn it. So at the end of the day, where do you place the Longhorns if they're out of the top 10? Are they 11? Are they 12?
Well, the AP poll still has Texas. So AP poll still has Texas 7. And
7. Okay, they got them at 7. And this is your rankings. Yeah, brother, you're going to get raked over the coals, my man.
Especially us beating Alabama, man.
You don't get raked over the coals big time on this one, bro.
We beat Alabama, man. And
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they beat Tennessee this week.
We had one Aaron drive in a rivalry game against OU, right?
Yeah.
So, if anything, we somewhere right behind OU, man.
It's two spots for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're number one out of the top 10, and that means we're pretty much 11.
Yeah, in his books.
Yeah.
But I hated doing it, but I was like, this can't be true. And I kept thinking that from 5 to 10, this is going to be the biggest struggle I've had all season.
Well, listen, though, every championship team has that one team that's going to slip up on them and maybe beat them, So that hard game, maybe Houston was that hard game for us, And remember last year, Houston's quarterback, what's his name?
Donovan Smith.
He was at Texas Tech and beat us last year. So Houston is not a bad team.
No.
Right? Houston's not a bad team. And we were playing them at home, and so we got to give Houston a little bit of credit because, they're in the Big 12 now. And they're putting their big boy draws on.
Absolutely. I told my wife, we were sitting there watching the game, and I said, this is a good measuring stick for the Cougars. I said, if they're looking to gain confidence into the Big 12, to know that they can step into the conference and compete week in and week out, what better way to show that versus the Longhorns? It was a little slow in the beginning, but second half, their playmakers start stepping up and making plays, and they have speed all over that field, man. I was sitting on my couch, I was looking like, man, these boys are quick. And the big boys up front was getting some knockback. I mean, I like, seeing that. And the linebackers was hitting. I mean, didn't number 12 knock out freaking Ewers out of the game? I mean, like, at the end of the day, man, you got to make smart decisions from the quarterback perspective. Slide, get your butt on the ground. But, man, they got playmakers over the field. And I know they're going to come in and do a good job because that's the city of Houston, man. We got a lot of pride down there,
Yeah, no question. Your brother played for U of H, right?
Yes, he did. He transferred from the university. He transferred from Arizona to Houston and played 1 year.
Got you.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's not a bad program down there, man. I'm happy. I'm happy when any Texas schools start to do well. But U of H it's a good program. I remember playing them back in 2002 when they had the stadium fiasco. And we got up for that game, and they got up for us too. I mean, they want to beat us really, really bad. So, they weren't a bad team. So I think we got to give them a little bit more credit too. They're better than UCF, who almost beat OU.
Yeah, they just still. When you look at now 3-14, and you're struggling, and I get it. You're playing at home, they're home, and they're getting better, and their quarterbacks could probably play anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
And to Cory's point, they are getting better defensively, the Houston Cougars. I mean, they have a ton of transfers. Holgerson's trying to save his job.
Yeah.
I get it. Because we know now because they got to keep that money flowing into that program because, Tillman Fertitta, that donor, that guy has donated millions. So
he might be going broke, though, man. He might be going broke.
There's no ROI on that one, Stevie.
Yeah. Hey, man, I don't know, man. He just the rumors around Texas is he's struggling right now for money. I mean, he let everybody go from the Houston Rockets, man. Like, I don't think there's any big time names on this roster right now.
Man.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's feast or famine now in the NBA. All these super teams. But that's a whole nother podcast. We could talk about Rockets, Thunder, Spurs, everybody, Mavericks. So Redding, he alluded to it, and we've got to talk about it. So I was saying the same thing, and I'm sure you were too, Steve. I'm like, what is this guy, Quinn? I love his attitude, trying to get the extra yards. But Sam Ehlinger learned this too. You got to slide.
Yeah, you have to slide, man. I believe I heard a coach say it. I don't know who it was, but you have to have the mindset of playing for the entire season versus playing for just the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, you're not a big guy to go out there and take these hits from big dudes like myself and Stevie. You have to get the yards that you can get, make a business decision and slide. Live to fight another day. You know what I mean? And, you look back over the years of quarterbacks trying to not run out of bounds and stay in, to try to be tough and fire their team up and deliver a shot, and sometimes it backfires. I mean, and you have to be smarter than that. You got to live for the rest of the season, not for that weekend. Get your yards and slide, young man.
Yeah, he hadn't learned that at all, man. I see him trying to fight for his team. They see him dropping the shoulder, they're going to drop their shoulders too. But that's the wrong business decision right there. And now we're struggling. We don't know what's the injury report. Is he going to play next week? And if he doesn't play next week, who are we going to play next week? Because we invested a lot in Manning, right? And so, but Malik is supposed to be next up, and then if he doesn't play, then he's disgruntled going into the offseason and then transfers, So just that one play is all trickling down now. What all these decisions that we have to make now.
Well,
you're not trying to impress me, Stevie. If you are a trigger man and you are number one and you out there trying to hit big boys, you're not impressing me, bro. You impress me standing in that pocket, delivering that pill down the field to our teammates, right, to get touchdowns. You're not trying to impress anybody by lowering your shoulder and taking hits. Be smart. You have to get down and protect yourself as a quarterback, because that is a prime position. If you don't have a good trigger man, you're not having a good chance to make it in, for your team for that season. I mean, literally, look at half the 16 teams in the NFL, good quarterbacks, they have chances to get to the playoffs. The other 16 teams, 16 teams in the NFL that don't have good trigger mans, guess what? They're always at the bottom of the totem pole. They never have a chance to get to the playoffs. You got to have a good quarterback. You got to protect yourself.
Well, here is the video of that hit, and then Sark afterwards, after the game, his comments, which we all know you can't reveal. It's just the Texas way. It's the major college football way at all programs. They're not going to say anything about an injury until an orthopedic surgeon or a specialist is going to look at it. But this is what we all saw, but this is from the field level.
He's got a hurt shoulder. We'll know more tomorrow on kind of the extent of it. He tried to play through it. We didn't feel comfortable enough with his ability to continue to play.
Okay, so today we have not heard anything, this being Sunday. What we do know is that they will talk about it. And does that mean a diagnosis? Does that mean a timetable? They'll talk about it tomorrow at the normal press conference at 11 a.m. on Monday. Guys, I don't know. I'm not trying to speculate, but he injured his other, I think it was clavicle last year.
Yeah.
Against Alabama. This looked more like a shoulder injury, and I'm just going by what is similar, like Sam Bradford had when he was at Oklahoma. It could be a sprain. It could be anything. I mean, I don't even know how to go down this path without speculating anything, but did that look like something? Because he did play a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the game, right? We're modern day gladiators. It hurts at the initial point of contact, and then you tell your coach, hey, I'm going there and try to continue to play through it, right, and be tough about it. But then you realize, hey, it's something more than this. That hurts a little bit more than I thought it was. So let me go ahead and sit on the sideline. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they had their MRIs, they ran their X-rays, they're talking to the doctors, they're coming with a game plan, know what Sark needs to say tomorrow. And then the biggest thing is ice and rest him, right? Rehab, treatments, all that stuff, as much as possible to get him hopefully to be prepared to play next week. And if not, Malik, you got to get your head on straight and strap up. And young boy, you better get ready, because you're one play away, right, to get in the game. So at the end of the day, this is football. It's a grown man's game, and you got to be mindful of taking those hits. And then the young guys, don't fall asleep in the meeting room. You better be wide awake because you're one play away from stepping on that field.
Yep, absolutely. I think because we haven't heard anything, it may be bad. In my opinion, usually we've heard something by now. So I think that he may be out a few games. That's just total speculation from me. But if he wasn't out a few games, we'd have heard that by now. So I think Malik got to get his arm right. Coach got to this is why we pay him upwards of $5 million a year. You got a new quarterback in there. Now you got to make a game plan for him, right? And then at the end of the game, when Malik got in there, we started pounding the ball on the ground. Why we didn't do that in the beginning? Why we didn't keep doing that, And instead of getting cute and letting Quinn throw the ball and, but when we were up by 21, just start pounding the ball and running the clock out, So the other big mistake we had was, we let them score right before halftime and then gave them the ball back right after halftime. So that was big. We should have held on to the ball by running and not giving them the ball back because our run game was starting to pick up. So anyway, that's the Ewers. Hopefully he's okay, but for me, if we haven't heard anything by now, it's not looking good for me.
No. The one other topic it did involve Texas, the Texas defense, the spot. And if you're the opposing coach, you got to look at it. And this is where they mark the ball. Now, it's just I think it's a bad angle to really speculate, was it a first down or not? But if you're the opposing coach, you've got to ask them to look when you see this piece.
And right after it happened, Jack Freeman got up. He immediately he's standing right on top of it and gets a helmet in there.
Either way, they got to go for it.
I think the spot was horrible. I think we got the first down. It's 1st and 9 on the 9. I don't understand review. Every time, I think something's reviewable, I can't get them to review it. They say they're looking at it, but I don't know that.
Yeah. Tell them how you feel. Say it with your chest. Hey, man.
They're looking at it, but I don't know.
Look, Coach always going to fight for his guys, right? And he want that first down. Yeah, he could have had the first down and then Sweat knocked him back. It could have been a bad spot by the refs. I was always trained and taught this. And as long as you stay within these boundaries, life would be so much easier coaching and playing in the game. Coaches coach, players play, and officials officiate, period. Right? So I was a player. I never tried to do what the coaches do, and I never tried to referee the game. I just played the doggone game, right? And so I tell people that all the time. Look, stuff is going to happen. I've seen stuff, man, and heard stuff so much on the sidelines, man, it would make your head spin. I would get hot and frustrated, but at the end of the day, I'm just a player, and I'm a player. I can't get into that because that's not my role or what I do, right? Everybody got to know their role. And so, yeah, it sucks, but that's the game, man. That's how it rolls sometimes.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Steve.
There are some different angles, man, and everybody came up to me today at church. Was like, they got that first down, right? I was like, actually, they didn't. On paper, they didn't.
They sure didn't.
We're here today because they didn't get that first down. But in my heart, I don't know, man. Everything's so subjective nowadays, man, with the referees but it is what it is. It is what it is. That's like Cory said. We got to put our hand in the ground and play whatever the call it is.
Look, Sean, you're a Rangers fan. I'm a Houston fan. At the end of the day, how many times have that in the game, in the series? The ball is complete. You know that little white box on TV that I love to see? I'm like, everybody can't see that at the stadium. That ball is clearly right here outside the box. And the umper go, strike. And I'm like, no, that's a ball.
How do you
It's a ball. So it's like that in football. Like everybody says it's the first down, but the referee said it's short. So at the end of the day, he's always right and we're wrong. And that's how the cookie crumbles, as they say.
And we are always on the bad end of those calls, man.
Oh,
especially against Alabama in the end zone with his roughing the passer.
Oh my God!
So we're always bad end.
Oh yeah, for Overshaw last year.
Yeah.
I still get upset about that.
Yeah,
that guy couldn't have been down.
That was a safety all day
long.
Well, speaking of defense, and we'll be quick about this. You look at the numbers. Donovan Smith had a great day throwing the ball. I mean, again, it's a good quarterback, 378 yards passing. But look at that number rushing. That's been consistent all year for the most part.
Yeah.
That rush D at Texas, that is very consistent. They are a run-stopping front. And I know both you guys love talking about defensive front.
I like that. You know, we always pride ourselves. When I was with the Ravens and Ray Lewis, captain of our D, he would always tell us, look, we bend, but we don't break. At the end of the day, we don't give up a 100-yard rusher, period. If we don't give up 100 yards, we'll win this game. And that's what he used to tell us. And so leading the front seven, he said, big boys. Whenever he called rabbit, you know, he would always talk to us. He would see the formations. He'd say, rabbit, rabbit. I knew Ray saw it was run, it's going to be a run. If he said bird, bird, gosh dang it, I'm pinning my ears back and I'm pass rushing because he think it's pass, right? So anytime he say it's run, mine say they're stopping the run, keep them under 100 yards, and you're doing great. Now we got to tighten up on the back end. That 350 plus is horrible. We got to tighten up back there. But you know what I can help? Not the DBs leaving them out on the island, the D-line. D-line got to get off blocks and get pressure on that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it goes hand in hand. You got to have good pressure up front to help the guys on the back end so you can knock that 375 down, you know, to 150 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, Stevie, I was going to tell you, and this is something, and your input's always valuable, but I think, and this is not an excuse at all, when you have three of your heavy hitters or players out, Jahdae Barron, who did play later in the game, he didn't start. You had Catalan, who's injury prone, or he was at Arkansas. And you had Watts, who did not play to my knowledge. Those were three guys that you've been counting on and have been key players. The youngsters didn't exactly get into the flow of the game. And I'll open it up right there for you, Stevie.
Yeah, I can obviously tell there was something going on in the secondary. And I think, and this is what I talk about play calling, Corey, is Houston was doing a lot of timing plays. And so I was like, why don't we lock them up man to man and jam them at the line of scrimmage so they won't have and throw their timing off. They won't have the timing. But I'm not sure if these dudes these kids for us knew how to jam and turn around and run with them, because that's all we needed to do was once we started doing man to man, the coaches trusting them doing man to man, we started getting some success. Except going across the middle, this little tight end slot position guy kept going across the middle, but everybody was locked up on the outside once we started playing man to man. So, yeah,
and that's what it was. You know, outside was getting locked up, so they beat us literally with crossing patterns. That's all I saw was crossing patterns. Yeah, and then that gets, you know, linebackers. The eyes get in the wrong place. They're looking at the quarterback instead of looking at their man, or, you know, seeing them come across the middle and not checking them a little bit, kind of knocking them off his path, slowing them down. You're getting free release underneath without anybody shoulder checking you. Come on, man. You know, you're going to be wide open. It creates natural rubs. And so those guys was just, you know, dinking and dunking. Those 5, 8, 10-yard catches turned into 15, 20-yard passes. And, you know, that's how they jumped up 370 plus yards. But at the end of the day, I mean, you got to play tighter. You got to, you know, body check. And again, it works hand in hand. When the front seven or the front three is getting pressure on the quarterback, you can't get there. Get your hands up. Knock the ball down. You know, those crossing routes are not high, deep passes. They're coming out flat. So get your hands up, 6'5", 6'6", 350-pound guys. You know, put them tree limbs up there, man. Knock that ball down. Whatever it takes to get the ball on the ground and back into the hands of your quarterback, that's what you should be doing.
Yep. That sums it up for people who may not understand that everyone has to be in sync, as you mentioned, all three levels of the defense. Now, there were other injuries. Jet Bush, I mean, he was like injured immediately, who I think he's a situational guy. This year he's had a good presence on defense. As the Horns head back home for BYU, who I'm going to say, I don't know another term, they dismantled Texas Tech, forced them into a bunch of turnovers. BYU roughed up Tech. As they come to Austin, traditionally Texas, I'm not a big fan that history of the past indicates anything in the future, but BYU's coming to town, I'm sure confident. But for you guys that know the game a lot more than me, a lot more than most, what do you think? Are you concerned at all right now with these injuries and a really hot opponent coming into Austin?
I am a little bit because BYU historically has always played us tough. They beaten us at home already once, right?
It was bad. Taysom Hill.
Yeah, exactly. So they beaten us at home already, and we got a beat up quarterback room right now, and our DB room is pretty beat up right now too. So we got to find something in us to come out and have a pretty game next week. Not just for winning a game, but actually for the polls, because we have a friend right here that's already put us out of the top 10, so.
Let's fire up.
So what we got to do is we got to win this week, and we got to win handily. Like we got to actually put some stuff on film, because right now, what are we? We're bowl eligible now, and that's fine. But for this team to keep their goals, we got to win out and win the Big 12. But we also got to start winning pretty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to start winning pretty to be the top 4. So if we want to keep everything in front of us, we can't just win. We got to win.
We got to win, like you said, Stevie, pretty, but we also have to win with some dominant performances. At the end of the day, you have to continue to impose your will on people, stopping the run, controlling the clock, and creating that mindset of just, we're going to line up and just steamroll you. So continue to run, right? We need to continue to run the ball with Brooks, who's been doing excellent so far.
Phenomenal.
He's been playing his butt off, right? You got to run that ball strategically, find times in the game plan to throw that ball whenever we need to get these guys, more points down the field. But we need to win with more dominant performances. And win the Big 12 and get into that playoff picture as close as possible. Yes, we're bowl eligible, but I don't mean nothing if we go into the Holiday Bowl. No knock on that, right? But
no more Alamo Bowl trips, please.
We want bigger goals, right? We want bigger goals. We want to be in the playoff picture. We want to have a chance at the national championship. That's what coming to Texas is all about. We got all these great recruits. You have to start having that mindset to get to there.
Yeah,
agreed. And it's, I think I can't believe I've overlooked this piece, but the Savion Red package on the Wildcat, I think they've got something that's really effective. And then when they get big number 0 healthier at tight end, you still have something. I mean, that's the guy that's going to help a quarterback if it's going to be Malik who has to step in. I mean, 0 is key, and Savion Red, in my opinion, is another one. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, Red looks like a really good athlete. Where has he been all year, man? We need to get him the ball, get him on the field somewhere and somehow. And we pay Shark $5 million a year to do that, upwards of $5 million a year. He needs to get his best players on the field. It's Sanders, Worthy, and now Red. I see Red. And Mitchell. Mitchell's still out there, and he's still good. So is it Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those 4 guys just being able to catch the ball, and then you got two good backs in the backfield. We need to figure out a way to get them the ball, man.
Look, it's not that hard. We shouldn't have to overcook it. If Malik has to step in there, get him comfortable early, throw the ball to, the short, the flats, quick outs, get him comfortable, take our shots down the field when we need to, pound the rock with the ball, use, Saunders in there to block and then leak him out for screens and shallow crosses and things like that. Give Malik some comfortable throws to get that rhythm. And then we start taking the top off, with deep passes down the field with Mitchell and, Worthing what we need to. But to have more of a rhythm and a pace, controlling the ball and just pound the defense, again, stop the run. You can have some fun, help these boys out in the back end who's, hurt with injuries. And the only way to do that is the front 7 to really step up and dominate.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun week. A fun week meaning it's going to be fun to see how they respond, who plays, who decides to, I need to take my game to another level because X, Y, and Z are not 100% healthy. And I think that's fun. It's fun for fans. It may not be fun for coaches, but that's just part of it. Hey, before we wrap it up on the second half, which is a short segment, man, let's check in on Cory because this guy, I've always thought, has had a amazing story in many ways. Football does not define him, but it is something that's a huge part of your life. And I want to begin with this family that you have really established and grown. And I cannot believe he sent me these photos, and I was like, no way. These kids are how old? I couldn't believe it. This is one of the most beautiful families in Travis County, wherever they are. Significant presence. This is like you made the photographer wasn't talented here. This is just a beautiful family right here.
Yeah, my daughter's 18. She's a freshman at UTSA, doing great. Want to study in fine arts and grace the big screen with her energy and her beautiful smile and her acting skills. CJ, he's a 15-year-old kid, freshman in high school. Don't play any sports. He plays 7th and 8th grade, but he sat down after his 8th grade year and said, "Dad, football's not for me. It was for you. It was not for me." So what you want to do? He said, "I just want to focus on academics and find other things that he liked." I said, "Great. Well, you better graduate magna cum laude, homeboy, because you ain't got you got no sports. You don't have to wake up at 5 in the morning and do all these crazy things." The kid's lowest grade, I believe, is like a 93, 94.
Wow.
And Christian, he is my 13-year-old 7th grader, baseball and football. I said baseball first because that is his absolute love. The kid is crushing it right now in the fall ball. He's doing great with 7th grade football, and he's playing like safety. They play cover 3 defense, so he's one of the safeties on the back end, and on offense, he is a slot receiver. And my wife, my beautiful wife of 20 years of marriage, we just celebrated 20 years this year.
Congratulations.
My college sweetheart. She's my rock, man, my everything. And she holds all of us together. So, yeah, man, it's been a beautiful journey. God has been blessing us, man, continuously and just opening doors and just showing us that as long as we're taking one day at a time, as long as we have each other's back and love unconditionally, this family and anybody with that mindset could do great things.
Absolutely. You forgot to tell us if you ever need to go on a Disney cruise or go to Disney or anything like that, you call Priscilla.
Absolutely. Priscilla is the Disney queen / Universal queen / luxury travel agent of the world, Craig. You know what I'm saying? No, she is, graduated the University of Texas with an education degree. So she's all about, teaching and, planning and all those things. She thought she would have a career in the classroom teaching kids, but now she has a career planning people's dream trips and voyages. And so that's great, man. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So one day I was sitting on the couch and I was just talking to my wife and I just text Cory. We were watching a show and I said, "Cory, have you been on a Disney cruise?" He texted me right back and was like, "Bro, I've been on 6."
Old hat.
Yeah, man. He started texting me all the tricks and the trades and everything, man. I was like, yeah. You got it down, bro.
Yes. I bust my butt, Stevie, in that league for 13 years, man. So, I say, look, I want to travel. I want to enjoy myself. I want to spend time with these kids and just see them grow up. The pictures you see right here is the Cory Redding Foundation, where we host football camps for inner city kids in the city of Austin and the city of Houston, where it originated in Houston at my high school, North Shore High School. But, we've done that for 13 years, and we've seen state championship kids come out of these groups. We see professional businessmen coming out of these groups. And so we made a pivot from football camps to just giving out scholarships. So we will put on fundraisers. We've given out over 20 plus scholarships in the last 7 to 8 years to the College of Education at UT. And so we're just doing some tremendous things in the lives of people. It's all about just investing into one another, right? Yeah. And Bible says, love thy neighbor as yourself, right? And so at the end of the day, I try to love everyone like I will love me and pour into them and just make this place one person at a time a little bit better when I'm no longer here. And that's the goal.
You are a living example. I mean, both of you are great men and really walk the walk, if you will, and, inspiring because I mentor inner city kids and then looking what you've established and for people to jump on board, meaning the community, whether it be financial, the time, and actual blood, sweat, and tears, if you will, into other humans, man, I don't think you really realize the reach you've had with your foundation. I really don't. I mean, there's no way because you keep going.
I mean, it's just one of those things that, I'm just a farmer, passing through in this lifetime, and I'm just scattering seeds no matter where I go. It's not my job to water the seed, prune it, and things like that. It's God's ability to do that. I'm just here to scatter the seed. So I'm here to just pour into these people, love on them no matter where I'm at, and let God do his thing. And then one day I will see the fruits of my labor. But that would be when I see him. So at the end of the day, I just do what I do and keep it moving and trust that he will do the rest. So that's the mindset.
True blessing. And lastly, if someone wants to contribute, whether it be financially or just their time or to support your foundation, how do they go about that?
Well, you can go to CoryReddingFoundation.com to do that. But at the end of the day, we still have donors coming in to provide for that, so we can, provide for the scholarships. When it comes to fundraising and events, I put things on hold, with whole COVID and all that stuff was going on, and I really haven't vamped it up again. I want to be mindful of how to do it, and just do it because I know it's, changing lives, but it's got to be at the right time. And I'm also working on some projects on the side that I don't have the bandwidth to give my all right now for that. So I just kind of put it on the back burner, but it's still there. We're still there, and we'll still give out scholarships until the parties and the fundraisers and stuff. Yeah. We'll do that when I think it's the right time to do it.
Oh, I love that. And then one of the traditions we have here that has there's been some incredible stories come out of this, the man cave stories. I mean, absolutely comical, the man cave stories. And it could be anything from your family or growing up in North Shore or as a Longhorn or your long career in the NFL. Any man cave stories really stand out that maybe as comical now as they were when that happened?
Stevie, you got something?
Hey, listen. We got a whole bunch of stories, but it's just not
100. I bet you guys do.
It's not PG for this podcast. That's what it is. To piggyback, I guess, of my little story, to piggyback off the foundation, Cory asked me, when I got done playing football at the University of Texas, I got straight into real estate. But Cory was one of the first ones that asked me to come and help coach his kids at his camp over at North Shore. And he had a bunch of friends that come out, and the coaching staff at North Shore came out and helped coach. And this was my first time seeing how much his coaches, his friends, and everyone actually really loved who he is and what he does. And I always, I love Cory because of his leadership. He's older than me at the University of Texas, but his leadership, and that's what we had back then. We had leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Sean and Casey taught him how to be a leader. Cory and others, and D.D. Lewis taught me how to be a leader, and then so forth. And so when he was playing with the Detroit Lions, and he came back, and I think it was Detroit you were still playing with, and came back and poured back into the kids of his community, and how everyone galvanized around him and loved on Cory and thanked him for doing that. I was like, that's inspiring. That's inspiring. And then all of a sudden I seen other people start doing it. And I was like, was Cory the first one? So, but no, it was really cool to go back to go to North Shore. This was my first time going there, going into his community and seeing how much he was loved in his own community. That was really neat to see, man.
No, that's a great story. And Cory, did you play for Coach Amon?
Absolutely. Oh man, that guy in 1995, he rode on the campus of North Shore, fresh out of Aldine, Nimitz, North Shore, north side of Houston. And he came in there talking a lot of big stuff. We're going to do this. We're going to prepare a certain way. You're going to do it. And North Shore, up to that point, really wasn't a powerhouse. We were just a school on the east side of Houston. And he came in there and just changed the mindset of what he had. He saw where we lived, and, it's not glitz and glamour. And, we have some hardworking people in that community. And kids can either be on the bad side of things, doing drugs and in gangs and getting in trouble, or playing football and sports. And so that's what he, rallied around and said, look, anyone that's having issues, come play ball, right? And so I'm going to make men out of y'all on the football field. And that's what he did. I mean, he held us accountable. We got in trouble. We didn't have to worry about the teachers or our parents. Coach Amon disciplined our butts. I mean, he had us doing air raids and running up and down that field, and he demanded excellence. I mean, we went so many years 10-0 because we just, we didn't want to face him. It was like, we beat them or we got to face them, face Amon. So I'd rather beat you so I don't have to see him on tomorrow. But, that instilled a lot in me, man. And some of the things that I've heard back then, I still use to this day. If you do it right, you do it right. If you do it wrong, you do it wrong, right? Do the right things first, right? And life will be easy. You start messing up, life's going to be hard, right? Fight or fold. Oh, so simple, man, but it makes a powerful impact. Fight or fold. When life hits you hard, what you going to do? You got two options. You either going to fight and find a way to get around it or go through it, or fold. You're going to cry and whine about it. Why cry and whine? Nobody cares about that. Be a man, step up, fight or fold, right? And so some of those life lessons I learned when I was 15 years old to 8th grade, I still use to this day as a 42 young man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That's what's fun, Coach. Just FYI, I remember, and you may remember these guys. Obviously, Coach Amon's son, Bug.
Yes.
Was it Chance Dennis, Tyrell Williams, receiver?
Okay, yeah.
And there was another one. They all four signed with Stephen F. Austin.
Yes, that is right. That's right.
The North Shore Four.
Yeah. So you were there when they signed.
Well,
you remember?
My second stop when I was in the media before Oklahoma City and before Austin, of course, I was in East Texas, and I got to know those kids. I met Coach Amon there randomly while those kids were on recruiting visits, and I didn't know they were supposed to be there, and I just ran. I said, "Wait, you look like Coach Amon."
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, and I learned that. What he said, he says he tries to go on the recruiting visits with his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Most bizarre thing I've ever heard of. But
yeah, man, it's the parents need to know what their kids are getting into. Where they're going to sleep, who's going to be their coaches, what the curriculum is going to look like, what the city looks like. You have your kids from 0 to 18 years, right? And then after you just send them off, you want to know, make sure when you close your eyes at night and go to sleep that your kids are on a good program, that coaches love and care about them, and then a good city that's going to protect them while they grow and become young men playing football. So, but yeah, man, David Amon is a great human being. I love that guy to no end. And, he's a Hall of Fame coach in the state of Texas and things like that. Man, he's just tremendous. He's impacted my life more than you know.
Stevie and Cory, we're going to skip the break because just so everyone knows, we're recording this on Sunday. You're seeing it on today, Monday. We don't want to miss the ALCS game. So we're going to go straight to the TikToking in the man cave. And I'll set it up. Freudian slips. They're amusing to those who don't allow them to slip. This tennis player from Australia, she's clearly from Eastern Europe, hilarious, named Daria Gavrilova. She was losing her match big time. And, of course, the reporter, in the traditional reporter way, asked about rallying back. Well, this was her response, not realizing what she said.
I'm good from behind.
Not going to go there.
She knew what she was saying.
I'm really good at coming from behind.
I'm really good from behind.
Oh, she's really good.
She says I'm really good from behind. And she caught herself.
Man, that's classic. That's classic. We all know what she meant in the competitive world, but it just came out,
Yeah, man. Sorry, it slipped.
Hey, we've all done it. We've all done it.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
They're positive. They love talking about good and positive things. Cory Redding, man, what is something that's going on in your life that you would love to relay to the people that may inspire or put a positive feeling in people's lives as they start this week?
I love to say this, man, because it rings so true. In today's busy, crazy, hectic world that we live in, our time is stretched beyond measures, and sometimes there's not enough hours and minutes and seconds in the day, it feels like. But if we can get this mindset as people and individuals, relationships will become stronger, your days will be better, and you'll just be an overall better person. Here it is. Be where your feet are. It's crazy. It doesn't sound politically correct or whatever, but be where your feet are. At the end of the day, I'm having this conversation with you guys right now. My feet are planted in this office. My mind is not anywhere other than in this office. When you're with your friends and when you're with your family at home, having dinner on a couch, sit down on the couch, put your phone in the kitchen and be with your family on the couch, right? Not with everyone else. When you're at your office, work, put everything else aside, get your job done, right? When you're on the football field, don't think about any parties or what's going on. Think about what play you got to focus on. Be where your feet are in that moment, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour, focus on that. And whenever your feet leave that arena and you go do something else, then you stay there and you focus on that. Short story, at the end of the day, just be intentional with your time around people because life is short. So be where your feet are, folks, and life will be so much better.
Stevie,
good stuff, man.
Stevie, that's sage advice, brother.
Yeah.
It really is. It's simple.
We should end it on that. Be where your feet are.
Be where your feet are, because Stevie, he's a positive guy. He's delivered a lot of positive nuggets to the fine stories inside the Man Cave viewers and listeners, man. And
Cory, I was just thinking about putting that on my office wall, man. Just be where your feet are.
I'm going to put it on my cell phone screensaver.
Yeah. Where your feet are, man.
As much as we're on our phones.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true, man. I got teenage girls, and their head is always down in their phone. And that's going to be my new thing. Is like, because I always like, put your phone down. We're right here.
Yeah.
I'm in front of you.
Yeah.
Put your phone down. Be where your feet are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's awesome. It's good stuff.
Stevie Lee, Cory, man, we need to carry on this conversation over at a dinner table sometime. Because I've got ideas, but I think I could enhance those ideas just from hearing you guys talk and speak and get your valued input on. There's no doubt about it.
All right, gentlemen, I'm over 300 pounds, so I'm always down to eat. So you just tell me a time and date, my man, and I'll get my fork and I'll get my knife and I'll be ready to eat.
Man, I love it. Hey, Cory, for the Cory Redding, the pride of the Texas high school football state powerhouse, that being Galena Park North Shore, national powerhouse, might I add, and the pride of Shreveport, Louisiana, that being the Stevie Lee, and for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Harbaugh Harge, Big Mike, and Coach Mo. What do we tell them, Stevie?
We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.